Hey there, Capricorn fan. How you be? Your May of 2025 is looking pretty darn interesting. What's going on over there? What are you doing? Okay. So right off the bat, when I was shuffling, because I have them all laid out already, when I was shuffling the archetype cards, they just like, when I'm shuffling things, I'll be sitting there like, what are the vibes that I want to share with a Capricorn fam for May of 2025, and just mantras, just going and stuff. And these were like flying out of there. First and foremost was the tear. Now, for me, it's pointing to the left, right? I'm guessing it's the same for you, right? Hopefully. Both of these cards are. To me, when the cards, these are pointing to the left, that's speaking of the past. Whereas if it were to the right, then that would be moving forward to the future, right? And the card that was on the bottom of the deck is upside down. It's reversed. So with the tear, this is speaking about healing and working through things, whether it's trauma, losses, heartache, things like that. This is something from your past that you haven't worked through, that you still need to deal with, that you still have some tears to shed over, to just get it out of your system. Either you tried to sweep things under the rug, or you felt like, at least at the time, that you couldn't deal and you just had to lock it away for later, and then maybe you lost track of time and now here we are, or what. But that card came up with the mirror. First of all, let's admire the stippling, shall we? Yeah, that's my jam as an artist. I love stippling. How comfortable are you looking yourself in the eye in the mirror? Like, let's not talk about like mirrors being portals and stuff like that. At least not this convo. Not this time. How comfortable are you looking at yourself in the mirror these days? Anyway, because you need these, the way they're showing up for me is speaking of you needing to work on that. There are things about yourself, within yourself, that you haven't healed, you haven't worked through, and they're officially getting in your way. You're holding yourself back with that. You're stunting your growth, right? On the bottom, in reverse, is the Maiden card. You don't want to be the maiden in distress. You don't want to need help, to need protection and saving from anyone else, right? But this is a very particular time for you. Like Capricorns, I feel like I've never known a Capricorn who wasn't secure within themselves, right? Who wasn't sure of themselves. But ultimately, you're human too, right? Darn tootin'. With the Maiden card, that's usually speaking of, whatever your age may be. It's speaking of that youth and that awe for life. Going on a new path, having no idea where you're going, having no idea what you're doing, and that being okay, right? There are going to be scary moments and stuff that may sweep you away, but some of us really need to learn how to be okay with accepting the help that we do need. And something tells me that that may be resonating with someone, because it's in reverse. So you're not comfortable with that. You're not comfortable with accepting help from others, recognizing you got a bit astray, you got a bit, something happened. And like, is that making any sense? I don't know if that's making any sense. But there's a discomfort with that newness, that unknownness, and that anything can happen, and lions and tigers and bears, oh my, you know what I mean? And with the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck, I pulled cards like confidence. It comes with time and practice. And that, like I was saying, that's a really weird card for me to see coming up for Capricorns. I know that, you know, people talk about Aries and Leos, the fire signs, the so exuberant signs and stuff, but Capricorns can be wild. You know what I mean? My cousin and I, when we were younger and my mom would send us to like go to the grocery store or whatever the heck, we would turn it into a game. Capricorns make excellent partners in crime, but there's something that, you know what I mean? And you just, would you be nice to yourself, please? You be nice to yourself, okay? And I also drew expectations. Don't seek anyone's approval. This is your friendly reminder that what they think of you it still doesn't matter. Right? The people who do matter are the ones who accept you, who love you for you, right? Who, even if they don't understand you, they hear you out. Help me to understand you because I want to. We all have our different life experiences and such, right? It's okay if someone doesn't understand you. Like, this feels so weird. It feels like such a contradiction, and I don't know what's going on. Maybe that's what is throwing you off, is it all feels so off kilter, and yet in this particular, you don't know how to write it. You don't know how to process and how to work through it so that you can finally move on from it, because this is old. Something in particular is old. Like these two cards, the tear and the mirror, being pointed toward the past, like maybe things have been coming up that are really making it difficult for you to move on because you need to deal with this, right? On the bottom of the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck was the Feather card. Think first before you judge. Be very careful. Be careful. What am I saying? Be very careful of the assumptions that you're making, especially about others. How often, when someone makes an assumption about you, how often do they really get it correct? That's all I'm saying, right? It's like something has kind of made your... Reminds me of my mother. She's one of those people who, it's like everyone's out to get her. You know what I mean? And it's like, what are you talking about? No one's doing that. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like this idea of what people are thinking of you or what's going on, but it's all hogwash. You know what I mean? It's all a facade. And it's doesn't deserve the weight you've given it. But I can't tell you what that is. I can hear you out and give you a shoulder if you were to tell me, though, like if we're able to hang and stuff. Let's see if we can get some clarification with the tarot cards. I like to think of this all as like storytelling, right? And normally I go one by one and then, you know, connect with how, because I lay down 4 and then underneath them I lay down 4 more, right? But I feel like I want to go with each pair, each row in this one. And with this first row, what we have, the way these all laid out are really freaking spinning me. We have the 4 of Cups and the 7 of Pentacles. Now with the 4 of Cups, this is someone who, it's very similar with the 7 of Pentacles, but this is someone who is very hyper-focused on how they think things are supposed to go. How, if I do ABC, that's supposed to lead me to XYZ. And they're not letting LMNOP have any fun. You know what I mean? They're so hyper-focused on what's in front of them, on what they're doing and what they have going on, that it's like they can't accept anything else. They can't even see that they're receiving a gift from the divine, even though it's right freaking next to them, right? And with the Seven of Pentacles, this is someone who has been really tending to things, really working on things, and trying to cultivate this beautiful garden. And those pentacles are looking pretty spiffy, but it's not time to harvest yet. And it's like, geez Louise, when? When are things going to work out the way I want them to work out? When is this going to happen? And you need to remember that you need to remember the journey, my friend. You need to remember how to enjoy it again and not be so hyper-focused on that end result, on those specifics. Like with the Four of Pentacles, I speak of like, I like to compare or use like not words. Goodness gracious, what's going on, fam? Jeez Louise. When it comes to like manifestations, that's the word I meant. And being so specific. Like there are those who will say you need to be, it's okay to like be specific. Think of that thing. But the problem with marrying the specifics, if you don't mind my phrasing, is where's the elbow room for the universe to surprise you with 1,000 times better? What if in your growth and your healing, your evolution, these things, specific things that you thought you wanted, simply don't fit anymore? And there's better trying to come into your life, being offered to you, whether it's the divine or whatever that means for you. I'm not here to dictate, just maybe help with some perspective, right? And this is a reminder to just breathe. Soon. Just breathe. Take a moment. Take that pressure off your shoulders. And remember that things like the pentacles are very slow moving. That's the earth. That gravity. You know what I mean? It takes time and dedication. The next card is the Eight of Pentacles in the deck. And that is like shutting out distractions. You might as well be the hermit and just building those skills, mastering. You know what I mean? That's the next card in the deck. Not the reading, but the deck. Honor how far you've come. Honor yourself and all of the work you've already put in. You are worth it. This growth, this potential, right? Honor that. You are not the same. Thank goodness, right? And because these days it's been such a time of getting to the root causes rather than being stuck in quicksand, right? Hollywood's old school idea of quicksand anyway, right? The cards that came up after that, after the Four of Cups came the Devil card. YouTube, please. And underneath that, after the Seven of Pentacles, came Temperance. Bam. This is a Capricorn card, if I'm not mistaken. But also, like, while we have a couple that very well looks like the Lovers, the couple from the Lovers card, right? Their chain that's like holding them there, it's pretty darn slack. This card speaks of things like addictions, self-infliction, self-deception. There's particular like negative self-talk and things. The cruelty that could be going on in one's own mind and such. You know what I mean? When it comes to things like generational trauma and bullying and the toxicity that can be in some of our lives, is we get so well trained from it all that even when they're not around, we do it to ourselves, right? So if it isn't that, then the pain from it all, like so many of us, we don't know how to deal with that. We don't know how to exist and live and do what we got to do while feeling that, right? But you are not alone. This is a card about remembering that you are surrounded by the divine. Whether you want to consider that as angels, gods, or the earth, the universe. Seriously, what, like, this deck tends to use a lot of Christian imagery and symbolism and stuff, but this is the idea that you are not alone, that you do have help surrounding you. So whatever that can mean for you, you are not alone. If you need help, it's available. You just need to remember that you're worthy of it, that it's okay to accept it. My friend, it's right there. But this person could also be you. Look at that beautiful dawn. Look at that enlightenment, that ring of enlightenment around their heads. Look at them alchemizing and defying gravity with those cups. They're standing like the star card. They're standing on earth and water to show, like, there are no limits to what you're capable of. So you can self-destruct or you can shine. You can move on. You can defy gravity. After the Devil card, at that top row, came up the King of Pentacles. Now, the King and Queen of Pentacles are they're very in touch with nature. Again, the Pentacles are earth. But with them, it's not just them and their kingdom who are thriving. There's generosity going on here. Everyone's thriving. Everyone's well fed. Everyone has a place. Everyone is heard. Everyone is welcome and accepted. Everyone has a place. The plants are thriving. The entire kingdom is thriving. Everything on a golden platter. Or there's a Daddy Warbucks coming into your life to help. You know what I mean? Like, this can be someone who's extremely wealthy and stable, but they're also very, very generous. They don't want to be the only ones up there enjoying stuff. They want everybody else happy and thriving and well-fed, and you know what I mean? They want them too to be able to enjoy their lives, right? That's the kind of king and queen they are. And underneath that card is the Eight of Cups. So this speaks to me as someone, what is that message? I attract loving and supportive people into my life. Wow, app. That was a great fucking time for that affirmation to pop. Listen, don't judge. So the Eight of Cups is basically like you've tried all of those, what's inside of those cups, and you were left wanting. You don't, the material crap, it doesn't do it for you. So you are off seeking what does sustain you, what does matter to you, right? I keep thinking of my cousin who is a Capricorn, and she's off grid. You know what I mean? She spends most of the year living in this like decked out tent, but you know, like that's her version of it though. Don't worry about it. That's her version. Like, what's yours, right? What truly sustains you and enables your soul to purr, because your soul wants to purr. That's what I'm feeling from this pairing, is the things that others really dig and like, the superficial bullshit, it's hollow to you. That's what I notice about these cups. They're not like the Six of Cups where there's all those flowers and stuff coming out of it. They are empty. They might as well be, right? The card that came up after the King of Pentacles, though, was the Three of Pentacles. For me, I usually right off the bat think of co-creating with the divine when I first see this card, right? As long as you're the one at that chisel, I have nothing to complain about. But whatever you're creating, whatever you're working on, It's solid. This is the right thing. This is going to be prosperous. You got to put in that daily work, that steady progress. It's going to take time. Pentacles take time, but it's worth it. The things that you're working on, don't get lost in the sauce, because it is worth it. This is the thing. But don't try to rush it either, right? Underneath that card is the Four of Swords. When I see this one, I tend to think, I know, I'm not meditating enough, thanks. I should meditate more, yes. This is very similar to the Hermit, where you just leave it all, like maybe because it came up after this card with the way I drew them, right? Just get the opinions of others, get the tastes of the world and Hollywood and PR and marketing firms right on off your taste buds. Get it out of your mouth, right? The swords are no longer necessary. Mind you, if you need to, there's one right the frig there, you know what I'm saying? But otherwise, they're decor on the walls now. The battle is done. It's done. And you need to just take some time and remember the sound of your own heartbeat. Retrain your subconscious to be nice to you, if that's what you need, right? Whatever you've been trying to numb and shut away is not worthy of having that kind of power over you. The battle's done. It feels so callous for me right now to say anything even remotely resembling let it go. But that's the truth, fam. I say with love, right? Are you a hugger? I would hug you, right? Because I got shit I got to let go of too. You know what I'm saying? Again, we are all human. We're all going to have our moments, right? Hopefully, we're learning from them. We're learning from our mistakes and handling things with grace, compassion, empathy, and respect. Like, just take care of yourself, okay? The next card, the epilogue to this epic tale, is the Ace of Wands, which I'm pretty sure that is the gift of creation. It's passion, fire, creativity, courage. It's not safe to go alone, my friend. Here. Maybe that's what's going on, is the universe is trying to be like, hey, 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 hey. Hello, like Chicky Mama, you know, the little fairy in a Legend of Zelda. Hey, would you fucking listen? On the bottom of the deck, fam, we have the Moon card. This is another card that is reminding you of how far you've come. You're not that primordial ooze coming out of the water anymore. You're not a crawdad. You're not an, well, I mean, we're animals. But you know what I mean? That path. You've come so far. Do you see any similarities happening in these two cards? There's a path over here, isn't there? Things have been illuminated for you, and maybe you're struggling to process them. Maybe you're struggling to realize what moving on really, truly looks like for you. But this speaks of a choice. You can stick to what you've known because you know it, and in that sense, it's comfortable. Or you can move on into the unknown, which includes all possibilities, which can be scary, yeah. But there's also a lot of incredible shit in there. A lot of incredible things waiting for you, right? In your future, tomorrow, later on today, fam. Right? Like, not seeing anything that really speaks of a time frame. There's no nights, for example. I mean, out here, this feels very like, oh my goodness, that freaking Gwen Stefani song, What You Waiting For, just came to mind. I mean, if you dig check it out if you don't know it, or you know it and you're like, oh shit. Right? But like, don't worry about what other people are thinking. You were reminded of that right from the get-go, fam, with that Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle deck card. Your confidence took a hit. It's all a part of the process. So continue working on those root causes, the things that enable cards like the Devil card to come up, right? Remember that you are capable of alchemy. Flipping that shit on its head. Spin it away, my friend. Pull a 180 and heal. Defy that gravity, because that's what you're capable of, and you know it. You know it. I'm just giving you a friendly reminder, fam, that you've been a bit lost in the sauce. You've had that tunnel vision, that hyper focus, and you got to take the tethers off of yourself. Okay? Remove the tethers from yourself, my dear Capricorn. They don't belong there. None of us belong in, tethered up and tight, but the fuck is gonna tether up a damn Capricorn? That is just, I cannot. Oh, the extra notes. Having a Sheriff Carter moment. What? Huh? That is referencing a show called Eureka that was on the Sci-Fi Channel. It was this town full of geniuses because they were all working in this particular, right? And Sheriff Carter was just like this guy that just came, to be a sheriff in this town, having no idea what the heck he was getting himself into, right? And so often, in nearly every single episode, everyone's kind of acting as though they're just dancing around him and he has no idea what the heck, right? They kind of treat him like he's the idiot in the room. If you have anyone treating you like that in your life, they can fuck right off. So says me. Now, the second card is Gemini. What are those pesky Geminis doing? What's going on there? Who's the Gemini? Do you have your moon or anything else in Gemini and that's just getting very specific with someone? What's up there? What's going on there? You better be being nice. They can be a little silly. On the bottom is a quote from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The season 5 finale. The hardest thing in this world is to live in it. Be brave. Live. Feels like that's the vibe of this card right here. Be brave. Live. It's not safe to go alone, my friend. You need to take this stick that looks like a penis. Yeah, I said that. Okay, moving on. Damn. There's so much that you are capable of. And I feel like the best advice that I've done in this is to remind you to remove the tethers from yourself. Don't make your own assumptions about people, but also remove the tethers from yourself. Maybe you really hate crying. Maybe you're someone who's really sick of crying, but you have some crying to do. Just let it out. Let it out. Purge the demon. Exorcise. Let it out. Let it go. Let it go. Fuck them. Let it go. It doesn't have any right to be there anymore. I think I already said that it is unworthy of bringing you down. You are an incredible human being, and you deserve to live the life of an incredible human being, okay? Always remember that you have people in your life who appreciate you. You are a very generous and giving soul, and there are people who recognize that, okay? And also remember, not only do I appreciate that you came here and you kept me company, thank you, but also always remember that I believe in you.